I was really privileged to know Bob for 10 years. He was a prime moving force. He was my mentor. I really cherished the times that I was able to come to Emmaus and sit down in his office beside his little fire and kick our feet up and just talk, exchange ideas. I found him to be one of the most imaginative, creative people I have ever met. He just had an instinct for ideas that could work. He would spin off ideas just very rapidly, and he was not doctrinaire. He was not stubborn about his ideas. He would toss out an idea, and he had a number of trusted colleagues around him who would talk him out of ideas that simply had no hope of working. But then sometimes he would keep coming back, and these ideas would shape and evolve, and next thing you know, it was off and running. His creation of the regeneration network was an example of that. There were many, many things that he did that really were inspirational. Much of what I know today about sustainable agriculture, alternative organic agriculture, is a direct result of that grant that I received from the Rodale Research Center in 1980 to do my sabbatic. That was a turning point, and Bob Rodale was the prime mover behind that. And his writings were inspirational and creative. Most recent experience I had with Bob was at Esalen Institute in January. We spent 3 days together in a think tank operation with people from all over the United States, Wes Jackson and John Reganold and a number of others from around the country who had been thinking about this, worrying about many of these issues for all of their careers. We sat down and thought through, where can we go from here? We came up with what has been known as the Asilomar Declaration. It was presented at the Asilomar Conference immediately after the Esalen Institute.
It's been widely published since then, hasn't it?
Yes, and it was very carefully sculpted. Bob and I were on the writing team that articulated the ideas. We were able to draw many of the concepts that had been bubbling forth in this roundtable discussion over a couple of days into some words that people could agree upon. And as you know, Bob was a brilliant writer. He had his work in journalism and in English, and then his commitment to taking complex scientific findings, concepts, and translating them into plain English that Joe Sixpack can understand. I really respected that capacity in Bob, and never losing sight of the ultimate goals of serving the needs of mankind, present and future generations. I really respected the guy.
And he was a most unusual man. I remember his enthusiasm.
Yes.
And the last time I heard him speak, he talked about getting a new bicycle, and he talked about it with as much joy as a child would, about the pleasure of it.
Yes.